Drew McIntyre is a superstar we have not seen on WWE programming or on WWE television since WrestleMania. As a matter of fact, Drew McIntyre, the Scottish Warrior, was drafted to Monday Night Raw without making an appearance since the Show of Shows, where he appeared in a losing effort during that triple threat match for the Intercontinental Championship against Sheamus and your current Ring General and Intercontinental Champion, Gunther. So with that said, where is Drew McIntyre? Because if you check wrestling news websites, if you follow the rumor swirl on Twitter and on social media, most wrestling fans nowadays know that Drew McIntyre's contract is coming up sooner rather than later. Now, I'm not sure of the exact dates in which his deal would expire, and I'm also pretty sure that part of the reason he's been gone from WWE TV for so long is because he's trying to nurse some injuries. But the main dispute going around with these reports and these rumors about his current WWE status is that Drew McIntyre is unhappy with his creative direction in WWE. He's not happy with his position in the current scheme of things. He wants to be better positioned, better placed in main events, in world title feuds. And who doesn't? Who wouldn't want to be in those positions? And just to make it clear, Drew McIntyre is definitely a main event star. It's been proven in the past, and it's maintained itself throughout, ever since he became WWE champion, ever since he made his return to Monday Night Raw to WWE back in 2018, I believe. Drew McIntyre is a star that people want to watch in the main events of shows. Unfortunately, there are only a certain number of spots when it comes to main events, when it comes to world championships. And therefore, currently, Drew McIntyre does not fit anywhere except for one spot, and I'm going to get into it pretty damn soon. But for the most part, the face of the company, we all know it's Roman Reigns and his bloodline, his tribal chief status, his almost 3-year reign as world champion in WWE. It's not ending anytime soon. They're not going to, after Clash at the Castle, it was clear that they weren't going to sacrifice Reigns' current status for a Drew McIntyre, so that's out of the question. WWE is still pushing Cody Rhodes really hard on TV with his Brock Lesnar feud, with his WrestleMania main event slot that he, of course, lost, but I still feel like Cody Rhodes is a big deal. He's a big superstar when it comes to WWE programming, so there's a spot right there. And the third spot is the current WWE World's Heavyweight Champion, Seth frickin' Rollins, who at Money in the Bank, it was announced last night on Monday Night Raw, will defend his championship against Finn Balor in London at Money in the Bank. And hence my point. Have Drew McIntyre return after that match ends. I don't think Finn Balor's going to end Seth frickin' Rollins' reign as a world champion. It's going to be a slobber knocker of a match, no doubt. But have Drew McIntyre make a big return in London and take Seth Rollins out, and that leads to a high-profile main event World's Heavyweight Championship match at the biggest show of the summer for a Drew McIntyre. And then that's up to WWE if they want to strap the World Championship onto Drew McIntyre, whose contract may be running out if they haven't worked out a deal to extend. That's entirely up to them. They might use it as a bargaining chip to try to make him sign an extension with WWE, which at the end of it all, that should be the case. That should be Drew McIntyre's main goal. Stick with WWE. Because the grass isn't always greener on the other side. And even though Drew McIntyre is a main event superstar, even though Drew McIntyre will draw fans, no doubt about that, he will draw eyeballs, he has to understand that even if he does go to AEW, it's a smaller platform, but there's already a face of that company over there, and it's the Elite. It's MJF. It's CM Punk's return. All of that is going to take precedent and priority over Drew McIntyre if he decides to go to AEW. I don't believe the money would be as good. Possibly, I don't know. And again, if he stays in WWE, it's a bigger platform. It's the leader in sports entertainment. You get to possibly down the line finally have that world championship run in front of the WWE Universe, which is what you missed. You main evented WrestleMania. The fans don't forget that. The fans remember that. You beat Brock Lesnar. You won the Royal Rumble match. You've done so many things. The fans don't forget that. It's just much like Macho Man Randy Savage and Jake the Snake Roberts at the time and Roddy Piper back in the day. They had Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan was going to be the face of the company, the number one priority of the company at that time. The same thing in the new generation. You had Bret the Hitman Hart and Shawn Michaels. Well, that meant Diesel and Kevin Nash and it's the same person. Kevin Nash and Scott Hall all had to take a backseat to them. Even Taker had to take a backseat to Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels at that point. Hell, Taker has had to take a backseat to pretty much everyone up until he became the owner or the bearer of the undefeated streak at WrestleMania. That's when his stock really started to rise in WWE to the point that even without the World Championship, he was that valuable. So right now, WWE has all of their chips on Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, Seth freaking Rollins. And again, this is about business. It's not about deserving. It's not about who deserves it most. It's not about who's earned it most. No, this is a business. This is about making money. And Drew McIntyre can make money, but there are other stars that make more money and draw more eyeballs and draw more attention to the product. That's just how the world works. That's just how the world works, and sometimes you just have to accept it. So if it's up to me, if I'm Drew McIntyre, yes, I'm negotiating to get a better deal. I'm negotiating to get a better creative stance, more high-profile storylines. Of course, I want that. And I'm not going to go to AEW because what they've done with an Andrade, with Miro, with so many, with Malachi Black that have gone to AEW. They might be comfortable in AEW. They're not in main event profile feuds. They've been misused, in my opinion, for the most part in the time that they've been there. So all in all, I think staying in WWE is still the best option for Drew McIntyre. We'll just have to wait and see. In the meantime, I feel like even if his contract is running up or not, McIntyre's going to return at Money in the Bank in London, setting up a world title match against Rollins at SummerSlam in Detroit. So with that said, those are my thoughts. Those are my predictions on the current Scottish Warrior's status with WWE. You might have some different thoughts on everything, on his status, on what decision he should make in the very near future. Go ahead and leave it in the comment section below. So with that said, tune in later on tonight to the USA Network for another episode of NXT. I'm Alexis Carrillo. This has been Wrestling Talk, and I'll see you next time.